Alright guys, it's been over 5,000 miles. Well, technically closer to 6. I guess it's time to give an update. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you an update about how it's been going for me so far here at Smith Transport. Like I mentioned in the open there, it's been over 5,000 miles. So for the sake of this video, we're going to call it my 5,000 mile update review. So we're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about everything, including like the procedures, pre-planning, dispatch, what kind of loads I've been getting, drop hook, how the equipment's doing, most importantly, pay. You know, we're gonna get into a little bit of everything. So without any further ado, please stay tuned. So let's talk about it. When you come out here, you have to use the OmniTrack system, and with that, you're gonna have to get used to their macro procedure as far as setting in macros and getting used to how they do things here. The OmniTracks is the way that we communicate back and forth and how their whole process operates. So, for example, when you get to a shipper, you have to send in your macro telling them that you arrived at your shipper. When you get loaded, you have to send your loaded call, and then when you arrive at your consignee, you have to send that macro, and then your empty call, so on and so forth. And it has everything else in there, including ETA, PTA, breakdown, call safety, T-call, everything. It covers everything in there. So like, I would say to new people coming in, once you get used to how they operate and their procedures here at Smith, the rest is all the same. Dropping, hooking trailers, driving a truck is all the same everywhere. But that was the key for me, at least. It was getting used to how they operate and how they do things. So when you guys come over here, if you're thinking about coming over here, once you get into that, it's very simple, but it's just like a process. It's a routine you're gonna have to do every day, and with time you'll have it no problem. Everything is very streamlined here. It operates very smoothly. Anytime I need to send a message into anybody, I usually get a response very quickly. You know, it's not really a big deal. I do have phone numbers for folks if I need to call them. 9 times out of 10, I really don't have to call them for any reason. I can just send a quick message. I get a response back to or from whomever, and that's that. They leave you alone here at Smith Transport. They really don't bother me, at least me personally. I've never, you know, since I've been here, you know, a couple of people have checked on me like, hey, like, how's it going so far? But otherwise, they don't really bother you. They don't have any micromanagement, you know, per se, anything like that. Like, they don't really hound you about getting places and doing things. As long as you do your job, it's that simple. Just do your job, you know, keep appointment times. That's really about it. As long as you can do that and keep the truck going in a straight line, you should have no problem. So far here, all right, so let's talk about loads a little bit. So far here, I've only had one load that has been a live load and live unload on both ends. Let that sink in here. Let me repeat that. So far since I've been here, I've only had one load that has been live loaded and then live unloaded at the receiver. Every other load that I've had so far was either a drop on both ends, or you have to, you know, pick it up, it was preloaded, then you might have to live unload it, but I think there was only one load like that. The rest have just been drop and hook on both ends. Like, so when they tell you an orientation and when the recruiter tells you that it's like 90% plus drop and hook, it really is, as far as I can see, like, it really is 90% drop and hook. 9 times out of 10, when you're working on a load, they'll send you a load, they'll pre-plan you on your next one. So there's really not a lot of sitting around and waiting here. Guys, as you know, we're kind of in a funky downturn market here as far as freight is concerned, but I think we're on the back end of it, and I think things are kind of finally starting to turn around, and, you know, optimism is going to be returning. So with all that being said, what I mean is I think there's going to be more freight and more loads are going to become slowly more available. So here at Smith, me personally speaking, I never really have to wait on loads. So I usually always have one pre-planned on me. Whenever I get to my stop, or if I take a break, I can take a look at it, send in my macro saying, hey, you know, I viewed this, I approved this, I want to accept this load, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Now let's get into the dispatching, the dispatcher. My dispatcher, Sharon, who works down in Atlanta, shout out to her. She's a great lady, always helps me out anytime I have any questions. It's been a great relationship thus far. Anytime I have any questions, I shoot her a message, just like, hey, if I have any question for any reason, she usually turns around and gets back to me pretty quickly, or has an answer for me in a relatively quick time. Like I said, all loads are usually pre-planned. You just have to accept them when they come through the Qualcomm or the OmniTracks, whatever you call it, the damn thing. It's never usually an issue. Our communication with the dispatcher has always been great. So you take a look at it, make sure your hours available, that you could run the load if you have enough time. Kind of just do the math in your head a little bit there, but 9 times out of 10, they take into account your clock anyway, so, if they send you a load, they know that you have the availability to do it. So let's talk about loads here a little bit. This is seems to be a frequent question or concern with most people. I've had comments saying like, oh, they don't have any freight there, I don't get no miles, and I understand that, and I also understand that we were in kind of a freight recession here. The economy has not been great, but that's no secret to anybody, so it's been kind of slow. I'm happy to report, though, that I haven't really been sitting around too much at all so far that I've been here. I know that other people that may have worked here in the past and have left, they're not going to say the same thing as me, and not everybody's going to have the same opinion as me, but this is why this is my video. I'm just telling you my experience. Is it one size fits all here at Smith Transport? No, absolutely not. And I think that comes back to, making sure before you sign up on any dotted line that this is going to be a good fit for you, what they offer can meet or exceed your expectations. I mean, that's half the battle, guys. When you're in the recruitment process or you're talking to a recruiter, make sure you're asking them the right questions to make sure that this is a good fit for you. But as far as loads are concerned, I will say, average length of haul for me is usually like around 400 to 500 miles or so. And your immediate reaction would be like, oh, well, that's not super long. You ain't gonna get a lot of miles. Guys, the way that they operate here at Smith is that they have a big density of customers all throughout their operating area. So, when you're going over to a place and you're dropping a load, like, they're pre-planning you on the next load, like, they have stuff all over the place. A lot of big name, recognizable customers, that we haul a ton of freight for. And, when you get into a certain area, you're going to drop your trailer, they're going to have next pre-plan on you, and you're going to go. So, sure, the loads may only, on average, of course, may only be, like 400 or 500 miles or so, but, that only takes a day, not even. You get parked up, you drop that, and you set yourself up in a good position to get to your next load. I will say, the longest load that I've had here at Smith so far, again, I haven't been here super long, but so far, my longest load here at Smith has been like 1,006 miles. It was a load that went from Dillon, South Carolina, right on I-95. It's like right over the border, near North Carolina. It's like right over the border. It was a Harbor Freight load, preloaded, picked up in Dillon, South Carolina at the distribution center, and it ran up to a Harbor Freight store in Hadley, Massachusetts. That's up past Springfield. It's on I-91. It's off I-91 there. It's north of Springfield, and you have to work your way east a little bit, but it was like right there. It was a little store. It was nice, whatever. But that was my longest length of haul so far. Those are the most miles that I got on a single trip so far. So with the deadhead from where I was to the loaded miles, it was over 1,000 miles. It was like 1,006 or so, I believe. So take that for what it is, for whatever you will. Like I said, average length of haul, probably 400 to 500 or so, sometimes more, sometimes less, to be transparent. And then my longest so far has been over 1,000 miles. And that brings me to my next point, or my next topic, pay. To be fully transparent, I'm on the 12-2 division over the road. I am home, I'm scheduled to be home every other weekend. So there's a 12-2 where you can take your reset or break during the week. That pays you 65 cents a mile, but I am getting paid 60 cents a mile because I opted to take my breaks or my resets home on the weekends every other weekend. So I go home every other weekend, I get paid 60 cents a mile, just for full transparency. But anyway, my first paycheck here at Smith Transport, my first paycheck here, take home, mind you, this is what I took home. It was in my bank account, it was cleared, $1,325 and some amount of change. Is that the most money in the world? No. but that was my first check at Smith here. So to give you an average idea of like what you could, you know, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but this is my experience. That was my very first check here at Smith. So just to give you an idea, just again, full transparency, again, I make 60 cents a mile. My very first paycheck, aside from the orientation pay and all that, my first actual paycheck from trucking was $1,325 and like some odd cents. The equipment has always been good. My truck has been great. Like I said, I have, you know, I put well over 5,000 miles on this truck already. Trailers have been good. Aside from that one video where I made talking about having an ABS light and an air leak, but that was addressed and dealt with that same day. I was good to go the next day. Everything has been great. Like, it seems to be that they get their trailers inspected frequently. Even the oldest ones that I've seen so far, which are like, you know, 12 years old. One was like from 2012 or whatever one time. Like, they're always inspected. I go through, I make sure, especially on the old ones, like when you do your pre-trips and you're hooking a preloaded, like make sure that shit is solid. Like tires, brakes, airlines, everything. Make sure everything is good working. You know, no holes in the floor and in the walls or ceiling or anything like that. And everything has been solid, guys. Like, their equipment here is great. Their trailers, most of them are going to be pretty new or newer, but I'm just talking about that one that was like 12 years old, just as an example. My truck has been great. Everything works the way it should be. No issues there. It's got 53,000 miles on it now. I got it with like 46 or something, I think. Like, it's been good. The truck runs good. I have no issues with it. Actually, I'm gonna show you it right now. My next thing, terminals. I believe a great perk here at Smith Transport is that we have a wide variety of terminals, accessible terminals, all over our operating area. Again, being under the Heartland umbrella, we share, all our terminals are shared between Heartland Express, CFI, Millis Transfer, and Smith. So we have a ton of terminals that we all have access to. Most of them are gated, so they're very secure, barbed wire. You need an RFID tag to get in. They're installed on the trucks. You just pull up to the gate, it opens. When you get in, it closes. Most of them have truck washes as well. Fuel is available here. DEF is available here as well. Showers, which are free. Laundry, which is free. There's vending. There's like driver's lounges, couches, whatever. Like, it's all here. These, I've found them to be a great perk that I hadn't really considered, you know, coming over here. Always having a place to park in your back pocket if you can't make it to that rest area, to that truck stop. It's always an option. They give you a list in orientation, and there'll also be a list on the wall, or you could just Google, like, you know, X carrier, you know, closest terminal or whatever, but we have a bunch. So with all that being said, guys, I feel like there's stuff I've left out, but I also want to mention that I have made videos specifically talking about some of the things I touched on in this video. I made a full video about orientation, so if you're interested in orientation, please go see the specifics about that video. I made that from start to finish, covers everything in orientation about what Smith does. Then I made a video talking exclusively about the equipment here at Smith, about the truck I got issued, a little tour, what it looks like, all the perks and everything like that. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. I also made 2 videos talking about the 3 things I love and the 3 things I hate so far about working at, you know, Smith Transport. So if those things might be of interest to you, please go check those videos out as well. As also pre-mentioned, when I got that broken down trailer, when I did a drop hook, I have a video talking about that as well. So trying to cover a lot of the basic stuff here, stuff that people would want to know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I might have forgot. Any questions, comments, concerns, as always, guys, please leave them down in the comments down below. I do my best to interact and get back to people like as soon as possible. It's been a real pleasure to get to know some of the guys here at Smith, and a lot of drivers that recognize me from the videos have approached me and we talked for a second. That's always awesome. Always love that, going back and forth with you guys. And people in the comments as well. I get a lot of returning viewers, it seems. of a lot of like daily check-ins and like people just, a lot of people that are familiar names that I see come across, you know, in the comment section. It's fine. I love to interact with everybody. And it's good for the videos too. It's good to see, you know, the back and forth, what's real over here and what's not. I try to be as neutral and unbiased as possible, but guys, genuinely, I'm having a good experience here at Smith Transport. Everything, I'm happy to report, everything that they said it seems to be so far. And, you know, that's the biggest thing. Like, you know, because that's not always apparent in trucking. Like, you get in some companies, everybody has an experience or knows of somebody that had an experience with a company that, you know, it's not exactly what they say it is. But then again, it goes back into that, make sure this is a good fit for you guys. We have an awesome recruitment team here at Smith Transport. Guys, they are salary. As far as I know, those guys are salary, guys and gals, are salary in our recruiting department. So they don't make any commission or anything like that as far as getting, you know, warm bodies in the door. It's not like that here. Any questions, please call them, 888-GO-SMITH, or, you know, find us on the line. I think it's like smithdrivers.com, smithtransport.com, whatever. Google it, you'll find it. All the information is there. Or, you know, again, ask me in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my ability. But yeah, guys, anything else, like I said, go check out my other content. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and if you're interested in learning more about Smith Transport, I'm going to be doing more videos like this in the future. And I think that's all I got. So guys, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.